I'm just asking you, you talked a lot, and I've read some of your writings about American corporations cheating on their taxes. I'm just asking you who they are.
I wouldn't use the word cheating. I think that they are taking advantage of the gray zone.
You used it in your testimony.
I'm sorry?
You used it in your testimony. I'm not trying to trick you. I just want to know you have been very vociferous in saying that American companies are cheating. Okay, that's America. You're entitled to your opinion, but you're an expert, and just tell me who they are.
I stand by that. I think that there is evidence to suggest that some of these companies and the IRS has pursued cases against a number of the companies that Mr. Curtis has analyzed, including Apple and Microsoft and Facebook and Coca-Cola.
Is Apple a tax cheat?
I wouldn't say tax cheat. I think that's putting it too strongly, and I didn't use that word.
Then who are they?
I wouldn't say tax cheats, but I think they are crossing the legal lines that have been set by Congress and by the IRS in the relevant regulations. And because the IRS is outgunned, they're not able to enforce the law against them.
Let me start over. Do you believe that there are major American corporations cheating on their taxes?
Hello, patriots. Today, we're diving into a Senate hearing showdown that perfectly exposes the left's obsession with demonizing American businesses while offering no real evidence to back up their claims. That's right, their so-called experts are out here making bold allegations about corporate tax evasion and cheating. But when it comes time to name names or provide proof, crickets. Stay with me, because this isn't just about taxes. It's about the larger war on American success and our values. If you believe in standing up for truth, smash that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with every freedom-loving patriot you know. And don't go anywhere, because at the end, I'll tell you exactly how to fight back against these baseless attacks on American enterprise. In a fiery Senate exchange, Senator John Kennedy grilled a so-called expert witness, Ms. Melan, who claimed that major American corporations are cheating on their taxes. That's a serious allegation, right? But when Kennedy pressed her for specifics, just 5 names of these supposed tax cheats, she backed off, offering nothing but excuses and vague answers. Patriots, this is the left's playbook in action. Attack, smear, and defame without facts or accountability. Ms. Melan admitted she has no compiled list of offenders, hasn't reported anything to the IRS, and hasn't even practiced tax law. Yet, she was more than happy to throw around accusations against companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Facebook with zero hard evidence to back up her claims. Senator Kennedy called her out for it, and rightly so. Talk is cheap, he said, and he's absolutely right. Here's the big...
We have Senator Kennedy, then Chairman Wyden, and then Senator Braun.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Melan, is your expertise in the area, Mr. Bunn made this distinction, is your expertise in the area of tax avoidance or tax evasion or both?
I would say both. I think the lines, there are situations where the lines might get blurry, especially on the corporate side. But in my...
it's both?
It's both. In short, it's both.
Do you believe that there are major American corporations that are cheating on their taxes?
I think yes, there are cases where the transfer pricing regulations are not being followed, and Mr. Curtis's testimony speaks to that.
Who are they? Who are the 5? Name the 5 American corporations that are the biggest tax cheats.
Well, this is a question for the IRS. It's their job to enforce the laws. So I wouldn't.
But that's a pretty serious allegation you made there, and I'm just asking you who they are.
There are cases pending against a number of companies until those cases conclude. It's not.
Who do you think they are? You're an expert in this area. I'm just asking you. You talked a lot, and I've read some of your writings about American corporations cheating on their taxes. I'm just asking you who they are.
I wouldn't use the word cheating. I think that they are taking advantage of the gray zone.
You used it in your testimony.
I'm sorry?
You used it in your testimony. I'm not trying to trick you. I just want to know you have been very vociferous in saying that American companies are cheating. Okay, that's America. You're entitled to your opinion, but you're an expert, and just tell me who they are.
I stand by that. I think that there is evidence to suggest that some of these companies and the IRS has pursued cases against a number of the companies that Mr. Curtis has analyzed, including Apple and Microsoft and Facebook
is
and Coca-Cola.
Apple a tax cheat?
I wouldn't say tax cheat. I think that's putting it too strongly,
then,
and I didn't use that word.
Then who are they?
I wouldn't say tax cheats, but I think they are crossing the legal lines that have been set by Congress and by the IRS in the relevant regulations. And because the IRS is outgunned, they're not able to enforce the law against them.
Let me start over. Do you believe that there are major American corporations cheating on their taxes?
I believe they are coming very close to crossing the line, and it's difficult for IRS that is outgunned to enforce the line.
Are they crossing the line or not?
Well, it's up to the IRS to enforce the line if they don't have the resources.
I'm asking you your opinion. You're an expert.
I think there's a good case to be made that, yes, they are crossing the line.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Who are they?
That's up to the courts and the IRS to determine.
You made this allegation, but you don't want to say who they are? If you know who they are, you just don't want to tell us.
I think that's been explained by Mr. Curtis in his analysis.
I'm asking you to explain. You talk about tax cheats. I'm just asking you who they are, and you don't want to tell us.
It's again, I think it's for the IRS to enforce the line, and we need to make sure that the IRS is properly.
Well, do you have a list of these tax sheets?
No.
Okay. Have you been to the IRS and said, here are these companies and they're cheating on their taxes and I can show you how they're doing it?
No, I'm not. That's not I've never practiced in that area of law. I'm not a tax whistleblower lawyer.
All you've done is run around saying American companies are cheating on their taxes. I can't tell you who they are, and I haven't been to the IRS to show my data to the IRS. But I want you to believe me that they're cheating on their taxes. Is that your testimony today?
No, Senator, no.
It sure sounds like it.
I think that the case against some of these companies has been well documented in the public.
Which companies? Let me ask you one, because I'm going to run out of time. Tell me in the last 23 seconds, here's your chance. You believe there are major American corporations cheating on their taxes. You just testified to that. I believe you told me yes. Tell me who they are.
I think there are the companies that Mr. Curtis discussed in his testimony.
Tell me who they are.
It includes some of the big tech companies. It includes some of the pharma companies that are.
Who are the 5 worst?
I don't have a ranking. I have not compiled.
You don't want to say.
I haven't looked into that.
You understand it makes it hard to believe your allegations if you won't tell us who they are. Talk's cheap. You ever heard that expression? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Wyden.
Thank you very much.
You've actually done some investigation in this space.
With your cooperation.
Here's the bigger issue, patriots. This isn't just about taxes. This is about the left's war on prosperity and their constant attempts to weaponize government agencies like the IRS against businesses and individuals they don't like. They don't want to enforce the law fairly. They want to stack the deck against anyone who stands in the way of their radical agenda. Ms. Melan even admitted that the IRS is outgunned and can't properly enforce the law. Why? Because the left has spent decades turning it into a political tool instead of a fair and neutral agency. They've pushed for more audits of hardworking Americans while letting wealthy elites and foreign corporations off the hook. And now they're using vague allegations to justify more power and control over our economy. This is about control, plain and simple. They don't just want to enforce the law. They want to rewrite it to punish success, redistribute wealth, and fund their socialist fantasies. Patriots, we cannot let this happen. We must defend the principles of fairness, integrity, and opportunity that make America great. Senator Kennedy showed us what real leadership looks like, asking tough questions, holding the so-called experts accountable, and exposing the hypocrisy of the left. Now it's up to us to keep the pressure on. Call your senators, write to your representatives, and demand that Congress stop the weaponization of government agencies. If you're tired of the left's lies and ready to fight for America's future, subscribe to Conservative Mandate right now. Join our growing family of patriots who are taking a stand for liberty and justice. Like this video, share it with everyone you know, and comment below with how you plan to fight back. Together, we can stop the left's war on American success and restore fairness to our institutions. Stay strong, patriots. Freedom is worth fighting for, and together, we will win.